let's start with number 3. So it says 4 times 3 times 8 times 2 minus 3 divided by 3. So to do this, we always start with parentheses first. That's the first thing. We use PEMDAS. And PEMDAS, if you don't already know, stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and then subtraction. And we always go from left to right. But here we have parentheses first, so let's solve that. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So it's going to be 4 times 3 times 8 times 2 minus 1. Now if we look at our PEMDAS, we have parentheses. We did that. We have no exponents. So the next thing to do would be multiplication. So 4 times 3, that's 12. So we're going to write 12 times 8 times 2 minus 1. Now, what is 12 times 8? Well, 12 times 8 is 96. And if we don't know what 96 times 2 is, we can always multiply it. 96 times 2, that's 12. We add a 1 here. 18 plus 1 is 19. 192 minus 1, that would be 191. So the answer is 191. Let's look at one more. Let's look at number 7. So we start with our parentheses first. So that's 34 times 5. So let's solve that real quick. 34 times 5, which is 20. So we add the 2 here. 15 plus 2 is 17. So that's 170. So we can rewrite it 170. So 7 times 6 times 7 minus 170. So 7 times 6 is 42. So 42. And then we have another times 7. Well, we don't know what that is, so we can quickly multiply it. 14. We add the 1 here. 28 plus 1, 29. And then we have a minus 170. So we can subtract that right here. 4. This is a 2. And this is a 1. So this is 7 times 6 times 7 minus 34 times 5 is 124. Let's look at the second page. Let's look at number 1. 136 times 55. So let's solve that real quick. 6 times 5 is 30. We add the 3 here. 15 plus 3 is 18. We can add the 1 here. 5 plus 1 is 6. Now we're moving on to the tens digit, so we have to add a 0. So 6 times 5 is 30. We add another 3 here. We don't look at that 3. 15 plus 3 is 18. We add another 1 over here. We ignore the first one. And 5 plus 1 is 6. So it's basically the same thing. I'm going to add a 0 for a placeholder here so we know our digits. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. Add the 1 here. This is 7,480. 480. Let's quickly look at 381 times 22. 381 times 22. This is 2. This 8 times 2 is 16. We add the 1 here. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. We add a 0 because we're moving on to the second digit. 1 times 2 is 2. 8 times 2 is 16 again. We cross this one out. We add the new one. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Let's add a 0 for a placeholder here. Now we add it. 2 plus 0 is 2, 6 plus 2 is 8, 7 plus 6 is 13. Add the 1 here. So that's 8,382. Let's do one more on here. Let's do number 1 first. Or let's do number 2 first. How about that? So 315 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 3 ones. So 3 times 1 is 3. So that's 0. We bring down the 1. 3 can't go into 1 at all. So we put a 0. So 3 times 0 is 0. So this is 1. And then we bring down the 5. But 3 can go into 15 equally 5 times. So 3 times 5 is 15. So now we're left with nothing. So this is equal to, 315 divided by 3 is equal to 105. This is simple stuff. Let's move on to the last page. So it says Mr. Kim spent $2,000.85 on a shopping trip. Mrs. Park spent $125 less than Mr. Kim. How much money did they spend altogether? So first we know that Mr. Kim spent $2,085. And we know that Mrs. Park spent $125 less than him. So we have to subtract to find out how much in total did she spend, because it said less than, which is subtraction. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 8 minus 2 is 6. 0 minus 1. So we're going to cross this out and make this a 10. And because we did that there, we have to make this a 1. So 10 minus 1 is 9. And 1 minus, there's a 0 here. 1 minus 0 is 1. So we know that Mrs. Park spent $1,960. But how much did they spend together? That's what the question's asking. So now we have to add these two. So $2,085 plus $1,960. So we can add the dollar sign later, but 5 plus 0 is 5. 8 plus 6 is 14. We add the 1 here. Not 1 plus 9 is 10. Add the 1 here. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So in total, they spent $4,045 all together in total. And there you go.